Hello, dear traders. This is Alex Gerchik, the president of the company Gerchik and Company, and today we're going to have a short webinar about the time for trading, preparation for trading, and everything else which has to do for you basically to get ready for the working day. First of all, I will begin with exactly what I do, how I'm getting prepared, what exactly I do, and how I'm getting ready. When I started almost 20 years ago, next year it's going to be 20 years that I've been in trading. When I started almost 20 years ago, I figured out one thing: as all kind of different traders, they're all trading in a different way. Some of them basically trading from the market, some of them trading from the filters, and some of them trading only from their list. What does it mean? For example, if you're some traders, they like fast moves. They don't want to do homework. They want to only trade the stocks, which is basically are moving today. And for example, if they see a company with the gap ups or gap downs, they would only trade this kind of stocks, and it's called trading from the market. So they don't really care. They come pretty much. Let's say if you trade the U.S. market at 9:30 in the morning, they come 30 minutes before, probably reading some news at the most, and then they trade from the market. There is a traders who trades from the filter. These people, they don't really care about anything. They usually probably come somewhere before 10 o'clock when moves are about to begin. They're waiting for the market to establish. They're waiting for the moves already to develop, and only then they start to trade. This trade is the work of traders from filters. I basically tried everything, and I'm a different kind of trader. I like to know my situation. So what I do, I trade from the list. When I trade from the list, I figure it out everything before. I have a pen, piece of paper, and write it down the scenario for myself because I don't really like to trade from the market because, for example, if the stock is opening down with a big gap down, I want to know the news. I want to show you something right now. Just hold on, just 1 second. I'm gonna start. I'll open my computer right now. I open the e-signal, and I'll show you the e-signal how the people are trading from the filter. So just 1 second. Okay. All right, my dear guys. I will show you right now my working table, so you'll figure it out. Okay. All right. What do we see here? Here's a filter from e-signal, and this is a very plain filter, stock point gainers. I mean, if you take a look, this is a NYSE stock point gainers, which is basically open up, and here you can see point gainers. I don't really like. Let's go with the percentage gainers. Okay, okay. We see some stocks opening 21%, 19%, 12%, and so on and so on. So, for example, you go in the filter, you see the Skechers. The stock basically was going down in a few days from $22.50 a share, went to $28 a share. This is a move of almost 30% in 2 days. And it's obvious, if the stock is going to break right here, the level like that, 27.80, 27.90, it has all the chances to go down. So in this particular case scenario, the guys who are trading from filter, he's going to basically put a sell stop order and just waiting for the company to come back. You should understand one thing. When the stock goes, this is probably some kind of news, and this is a stock is called Skechers. I mean, a lot of you know this kind of company. This is company which is sneakers makers, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, yes, Skechers, and so basically you can see what's going on with this particular company, and you should understand one thing: if the stock went up almost 30% in a few days, something is really going on. Definitely it's not a buyout, because usually buyout works totally different way. There's some news about the company, and if you're trading from filters, you are not going to know this kind of news, because you have to take a look, you have to go online and figure out. Let's just spend some time, and we'll find out what kind of news out there, just to figure it out. Okay, SKX stocks news. All right, we'll see what kind of news. SKX, sorry, SKX. All right. You see, that's the news. That's the earnings expectation. The company basically did very good international growth. So obviously something was wrong before, but as you can see, the basically the company has a good earnings. Obviously, usually the stock goes not only on the earnings but anticipation what is going to be in the future. So if you're trading from filter, you know one thing for a fact: stock went up 30%. You have to see and watch out. The volume is basically above the average, but it's not like a super huge. Have a stock. It's a cold quote. I don't even know about this company anything. Stock was at 10.75 and it's open $13 a share. So as you can see, the stock is up 20% just in one day. And then you have to watch out the news. But here's a definite problem because this particular company has pretty much no volume and it's a huge gap and it's no volume. The volume is right here at the opening below the average. When there's a very significant news in a company, you should understand there's always a large gap, very large gap, and it's always with a large volume. I mean, take a look at the Skechers. They're basically opening gap with the stock trading only 30 minutes and the volume is already above the average. So it's understandable. So, we'll see a few more stocks and I'll just make my point. So this is the biggest losers. Okay, we have right here the stock, which is down to 30%. I'm sorry, 22% with a give back, with a big gap. So you see, we'll board it right here and the stock is right away. It's going to close in the gap. So, hold on. So that's the people who trades from the filter. I at one point I tried to trade from the filter and I figure out one thing: I cannot catch the stocks and go after them, running for them for one simple reason. My job is a little different. I like to trade the stock, which I put it in the paper, and when the stock is in my list, I know exactly what's going on. I know the stock, how it's behaved, what's the news, with the anticipation, what is the levels for this particular company, and then I can trade. I was never pretty much a news trader or a filter trader. I use filters sometime when my stock are not moving and there is no story behind it and I don't know what to do. So basically, I'm trading stocks from the list. Right now, I want to show you usually, I mean, as you see how I trade very simple. I'm going to right now put my table. Hold on one second. And okay. Take a look. For example, what I usually do. For example, we're talking about that's like currency pairs. So, this is euro, and what I do, as you can see, the usual. I draw the levels, and I see how the currency pair behave against those levels. So what I've seen, I draw this level, for example, 106.869. I figure it out what this level doing, how the currency pair behaves. So I know one thing for a fact: there's a very strong level of 105.881. So what I do, every single instrument, I take every single instrument and I go against those instruments. I write it down against every single instrument. What exactly do I expect from this particular instruments? Like, for example, and it goes against my scenario or it does not. For example, here when Japanese yen was establishing itself right below the level, you should figure it out one thing. Once basically it looks like it doesn't want to go down because this is a level, very significant level, you should understand one thing: it's probably most likely it's going to go up. So when you draw the levels, you pretty much explain the situation about every single story about. Like, you take whatever Australian dollar, you take a Swiss franc, you take oil or anything else, you figure it out, how the stock behave. You take gold or you take anything, that's the bottom line. So what I usually do, the way I trade, for every single story, for every single stock, I always know exactly what I'm going to do. A lot of times people asking the question when to trade and when not to trade. It's all dependent on the instruments that you trade. For example, if you trade the stock market, you should understand one thing: the biggest volume. And if you saw our previous webinars, you know one thing for a fact. If you trade the US market, you should understand one thing. The first hour, you can only trade breakouts, only breakouts for one simple reason. On the first hour, there's one of the biggest volume in the market. And when you trade one of the biggest market volume in the market, you should understand one thing. The biggest move are always there when there's a big volume. I mean, it's very hard to make a large move on a small volume. And if you take a look on New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq volume, you should figure it out. That's from 9:30 to 10:30. There's always a large volume, so it's mean you can only trade breakouts. Then you can trade until probably 12, 12:30, and when 12:30 comes to US market, until 2:30, sometime until 2:45, or even 3 o'clock in afternoon, the market is completely dead. I mean, there's nothing you can do. The market is dead. You're just sitting and waiting. There's another big traders out there, and the market is just taking your position. So this is when the big boys accumulating position against you, they take your position from you. So if you trade US market, the only time you can really trade from 9:30 probably to 12, it's about 2.5 hours, and from probably 2:45 to 4 o'clock. I never trade before market, never trade after market. But very important thing, what to do during those hours where you're not trading. If, for example, you have a positions to watch, you're watching only your positions. That's all what you can do. You watch your positions, you see how the stock behave, you basically trade stops, you figure it out the positions that you want to trade. And if there is nothing to trade, you just don't trade. A lot of times people asking the question, should we take a break? I usually, before, I always was working out for probably maybe an hour to hour and a half, because when it's a time dead, you don't want to trade those times because the market is dead and you're going to give it away the position. The only time I ever trade during those dead hours, it's only when I had a lot of positions. But a lot of times I used to come to the office at 4:15 in the morning. I used to do homework and I used to trade. If I would ever had a good day until 11:30, 12 o'clock, my friends, I would just close my computer, I would take my money, and I just would walk away. Because for one simple reason, I came to the industry to make money. If in any given day I would give away more than 25% of my earnings for the day, I would just close my computer and go. That's the way. After 20 years in trading, I'm probably one of the very few people who's still in trading, because most of the time the people are already dead, they gone, for one simple reason, because they're mental unstable. Trading is an extremely hard job, and if you're not watching out for your health, you're definitely going to have a issue. A lot of times, I'm just looking for the questions that you people asking us for me to answer. There's a question: how long should be a trading session? As I said before, when I just begin for the first years, probably, I used to work from 5 o'clock in the morning, 4:15. I used to come to the office, drink coffee, do the homework, and from 5 o'clock in the morning, I used to trade. Sometime, all day long, do the homework. Just for you to understand, when you only start to trade in the beginning, you have to watch out for the homework always. So what I used to do after the day is over, after 4 o'clock is over, I used to basically describe every single trade I've done for the day. Trust me. Sometimes it was many of them, many of them. It's obviously, I mean, if it's hundreds of them, you cannot do anything because it's extremely hard when it's so many trades. You cannot do anything. But when it was fewer trades but with a large volume, I would definitely sit down and explain every single trade, what I've done, and just finish my day and go home. A lot of times, the people asking a question right here during the day: should we take a break or not? Guys, in the beginning when I started to trade, I was a crazy guy, and a lot of guys who used to trade with me were crazy people. We used to be so busy that we used to even had a lady who used to cook for us and bring right there to the working space. So we used to trade all day long. The eyes like this, you sit with the position, and a lady used to bring the lunch. We used to order it in advance. We used to call in the morning and say we want pasta, or we want meat, or we want sandwich, or we want coffee. And she used to come to the office, bring us the food, and we used to trade and just sitting and eating. I am not a big fan. Probably in the beginning was a fine way to do it, but right now I'm not a big fan. I always take lunch. Usually breakfast I eat and do homework, with a one spoon, eat something light. But when I take lunch, I walk away for one simple reason: you want to stay healthy. You want to basically make sure you understand what you do. If you're gonna go crazy, if you're not gonna do anything, exercise. Honestly, when I started, I didn't have anybody to tell me what to do, and now, 20 years later, I do have a problem with my back. I mean, it's obvious. So, my advice to you very simple. Probably every few hours, when you see the market is slow and dead, just take a little break. I mean, go on the floor, do few push-ups, do few exercises, because you have to make sure your back is in a good position for one simple reason. If you're going to sustain in this business for a very long time, my friends, you have no options but to exercise and make sure your body in an excellent condition. Because if something is going to hurt, trust me, you're not going to be able to trade. That's 100%. And the last question that we have, how it's my trading day? I mean, right now my trading day is totally different. Most of the homework I'm doing in the weekends. Saturday, Sunday, I go through a lot of stocks. I basically take piece of paper. I even have it here. I take piece of paper, pen, and I write down for myself everything. The moves, what I expect from the move, what kind of stock I'm going to trade for today, what exactly do I expect, why I'm going to trade this particular stock, what is the levels of this particular company, is there any news? Because I always looking for the news. I always make sure that if the stock is before the earnings, I'm not going to trade this particular stock. So my advice to you is extremely simple. Understand exactly what you do. Take care of your health. Do breakouts during the work. And the most important thing, before you trade, figure out the way you want to trade. You want to trade from filter, you want to trade from the market, or you want to trade from the homework. My advice to you, trade from homework for one simple reason, because you're always going to know exactly what to do. So as far as the trading session, it's all dependent on you. Some people do one trade, make two trades a day, close computer, make money, and walk away. For example, if you're a swing trader, I do only swings right now. You can choose the stock, enter the stock, put a stop loss, and that's it, and take a take. For example, if you're willing to trade and sit in the stock for 2 weeks, you don't really care what the company is going to do today. So exercise, and just don't forget, the life has a full of amazing things, full of surprises, and full of beautiful stuff. So just don't postpone, don't wait until it's going to be too late, because you can wait, for days, months, and everything else, and you're going to have a problem. Life is today, right now, and if you make money, spend money. Thank you very much. It's been Alexander Gerchik. Get yourself in our YouTube channel. Stay with us, make money with us. Thank you very much.